So, a tough loss for the Indians as Pedro Serrano doubles off the pigeon and is tagged out while administering CPR before the tying run score. Funny game, ain't it, Monty? Well, at least the bird survived. Who cares? It's a rat with wings.
Bob Uecker as probably one of the best characters, even better than his character on Mr. Belvedere.
Yeah. Have you seen, I forgot, Criddle, have you seen Major League 2?
No.
Oh, okay.
I should, though.
Yeah, after this, I was like, I want to watch this now.
Oh, yeah.
And it was funny while reading all the quotes, it's like most of them are done by the announcer, Harry Doyle. So I was just like, well, that's funny. Like, he gets the most quotable lines, which I mean makes sense. He's narrating a lot of the movie.
Jack Parkman doing his little shimmy.
Makes the girls here in Cleveland go crazy.
Man, on Amazon, the VHS tape is $25.50.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Makes me wish that I didn't purge most of my VHS tapes. Because at the time, I don't even think some of the secondhand stores and stuff like that were taking them. So I just when I moved them into my condo, basically put them all in the garbage.
Huh. Yeah, I'm going to deviate from normally what we do here. So I saw something that they're suggesting that physical copies are going to be coming back in a big way of like, not necessarily movies, but just like storage. So like, you know how we always used to burn things to store stuff before we got these external, and it was talking about the difference between external hard drives versus like, using DVDs for burning. They have figured out a way to have like a DVD store, the one that's just beyond, I want to say, terabytes.
Oh, really?
It's not petabytes, I want to say. But yeah.
On a disc?
On a disc.
Wow.
What they're going to do is essentially changing the way that you record to a disc. Instead of it being one dimensional where you're doing that, it's going to be able to do it 3-dimensional. So it's going to have layers in the DVD.
Just like an ogre.
Exactly. Just like ogre. Anyways, there's my deviation. All right. Sitting beside me, we have the devout follower of Jabu and Buddha, the man who's both the killer and savior of a pigeon, the perfectly bald man who's not quite so bald, Brett, our Pedro Serrano of the podcast.
Oh, it is alive.
But in a way, you're Mr. President as well.
Exactly.
Across from me, we have the man who's not afraid to do his own stunts, adorned with more jewelry than most women should. Watch out because he can steal every base. Timmy, the Willie Mae Hayes of the podcast.
Thanks. Sure.
And last and certainly the least, the former owner of the baseball team turned newly reactivated third baseman. He's sort of willing to take a hit just to have someone else pinch run for him. Me, Jeremy, the Roger Dorn of the podcast.
All right. Let's see. I've heard it both ways.
Yeah. Oh, and that's another reason you should watch it, Criddle, is because the Roger Dorn that I am is the dad of
Henry Spencer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Corbin Burnson.
Oh, you're just looking it up now?
I'm just looking it up right now.
Okay. It's a great movie. The number one movie is, me and Brett watched number one, I think, well after we watched number two.
Yeah.
You don't need to watch number one.
Number one, it's well loved. And, there's people are like, yeah, number two is quotable lines. But I'm like, number one is slow and it drags on. And number two is just funny consistently. And I felt as though the introductory synopsis or, previously on filled you in on everything that you needed to know about the first one. And so we felt very justified in never having watched it.
Mm-hmm.
I could rent it for $3.59.
How much is it to buy? Like on
digitally on Amazon, $12.99.
I wish it would be like $9 or less. $7.99. $7.99 is a good price.
I'll put in a good word.
All right, now it's time for our...
All right, merit badges. What do we got?
All right, so we have, well, at least I have the merit badge. I was nearly dethroned which I feel like is fitting because I don't know, we watched Dune too, and but there was some dethroning there. So this, by being nearly dethroned, my son tried to poison me. He put
Which one?
my youngest, a 3-year-old. He put soap in my Mountain Dew.
Whoa.
And I like taking a drink. I was like, whoa, and I was like, oh my gosh. And you can't get that taste out forever. And then like he was already asleep by the time. So of course he had an alibi by the time I drank it. And next morning I was like, Dean, did you put soap in my Mountain Dew? And he has this big old smile. I'm like, oh, you can't do that.
So now are you seeing like the truth and the logic of parents using soap to clean out their kids' mouth when they swear?
Yeah, because that just lasts there forever. Like I had to drink other things to try and get rid of the flavor. Took a while.
I remember one time going off with the kids swearing. One of my kids accidentally swore a while ago, and my wife and I just laughed because my brain instantly thinks of like the Goonies or like just those kids swearing, and you think it's really funny. But we had to talk with them, like, we don't say that. But he didn't know, he was innocent. Like he just hears it all the time on movies, and I'm like, oh, it's okay.
Still remember to this day when Brett accidentally swore.
Oh yeah, my dad. The name game song,
the Banana Whammo.
Oh yeah,
Banana Whammo Fo Fam. My dad said, "Hey, now do it with the word duck."
And Brett did it,
and I did it, and then
so
suddenly
sad.
it was like somebody. We probably even had like a record player in the kitchen, but there was probably a record player scratch, and suddenly it was just like, but I didn't mean to say that. And my dad's just like, I know, I did it. I set you up.
And then I had to go, Brett, what does that mean?
Feels like a dad joke.
I was just like, I don't know what it means. I just know you're not supposed to say it.
That's funny.
All right. Well, my merit badge this week, I'm calling it the POW merit badge. Now, if you've seen the symbols from the old Batman movies and shows where there's the POW.
Yep.
Okay, that's what happened to me yesterday. My wife and I were shopping at Walmart, and we were walking down an aisle, and we ran into someone's crop dusting.
Oh.
POW!
It'd been so funny if you had like your face jerked in a way like that. You guys.
Oh, it did. It was like first it hit my nose, and then it hit my face. And I was like, oh.
It uppercut you. Ugh.
And we all know it happens, and we're probably all guilty of crop dusting in certain stores.
Anybody that was at Media Play in the 90s or whatever. Yeah, my bad. Sorry.
Yeah, I definitely, for some reason, when I'm at the store, I have to toot. And so I definitely have crop dusted before, and I get away from that aisle as fast as possible.
That's funny. Like there are times where you're in an aisle and like there's no one around, and you're like, oh, I have one, stored, and you're like, it'll just be a little squeaker, and then it just ends up being a.
The funny thing last night, I don't know, Brett, if you heard it, but the movie theater and Dune, it was like a very quiet scene. It just came out of nowhere. It went from being a very loud scene to a very quiet scene. That someone let one go a couple of rows back, and I was like, I bet he was trying to time it with the action, and it just didn't work.
No, didn't catch that. No,
I've found it as I get older, I have to be more careful with those because you never know if it's going to turn into something else.
Yeah. I've only had a couple of those my whole life where it's like, oh shoot.
I only had those in my early 20s. Like I've never, it's just like, I've always been like, nah, it's not juicy. And it's not.
Juicy. Saucy.
Pow!
All right. Well, mine is, my merit badge is the don't overthink things merit badge. And so this is something that has occurred over the course of many, many years where, you're waiting for something, and, I bought my condo. waiting for something. And about last summer, about this time last year, I just decided, because, I have my condo, I'm like I never wanted anything in the guest bedroom because I felt as though putting something in the guest bedroom would be basically waving a white flag to any possible social life. Like, you know what? This temporary place, which was supposed to be a 3-year plan, currently on year 11, was going to be permanent if I ever did anything to that bedroom. And so I refused to put anything in there except for a guest bed and then have like 2 roommates in between. But last summer, I was just like, you know what? Let's just turn this into my podcasting room. It's going to be my extended nerd room, because I'm tired of waiting. So I'm not giving up, but I'm not going to, I don't know what my thought was. And the reason why it's, such an important merit badge is this coming weekend, I am going to be getting married.
Yay! Congratulations.
Yes. To the love of my life, who I was not expected to meet. So, you know what? I feel as though the merit badge of don't overthink things or whatever can be, because you have that whole, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. But if you're constantly like, this will happen in my life at this time, this will happen in my life at this time, if you're constantly making goals and this is going to happen, and then when this happens, my life will be happy, like you're pissing away like the here and now.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Definitely take advantage of the here and now. I forget to do that a lot. And I'm also tired to do it. Too tired to do it. It's like, I want to go to bed, or I want to, yeah. Or the kids are tiring me out and I'm like, I'll do that later. So, yeah.
I like tomorrow and someday. Those are my 2 favorite days of the week.
Yep. Future Jeremy has to deal with a lot of crap.
Oh, yeah.
Poor guy.
My favorite thing about that, though, is at school, that is a knowable quote by me. Like somebody will be like, oh, man, we're going to have to do this. We're going to do that. I'm like, that's next month's Brett's problem. And then eventually it turns into next month, and people are just like, so how's next month Brett feeling? I go, current month Brett is really mad at last month Brett.
That's funny. Oh, good stuff.
Spin the wheel.
All right, we have Spin the Wheel, where we have 10 categories of questions. We're going to spin the wheel, decide who's going to be asking what. And I will go first. And I got Would You Rather. All right, I've had this one locked and loaded for a while. And here we go. Would you rather stay in a hotel where the ceiling is a glass window, or the floor is a glass window? To the lobby, more specifically.
So I'm either looking up at the lobby or looking down at the lobby.
I'd rather be looking down at the lobby.
And now, is that just because you like to look down on people?
Yes, but also because I can control what is seen. The other way around is it's just like, all right, oh, whoa, that person's not wearing any underwear.
Yeah, I would have I'd be looking down, because you can fix that. You can take blankets and put them on the floor.
That's true. I didn't even think about that when making this question.
And covering it up. So I'm going to do that.
Looking, I'm like, oh, he's outsmarted us. Not everybody figures the blanket trick out. All right, Criddle, you're up next, and you have Desert Island.
What famous person would you hate to be stuck on a desert island with?
Famous person, living or dead, or both?
Either.
Napoleon, because he has a complex. No, just kidding.
Hitler.
No, I mean, just think about that. He'd be wanting to kill so many people, and he couldn't, and it would be kind of funny. It's like,
well, he'd be on his little rants, about how he hates this certain group and that and how he wants. It's like,
hey, would you go like forage for some trees or something like that so we could have a fire tonight.
Let's see. I'm thinking the person I would most hate to be on a desert island with that's famous would probably be somebody who's got like psychological, like homicidal tendencies. That's who I'd hate to be. And so I don't know who that would be that like just has to kill people. Like Jeffrey Dahmer. There we go. Jeffrey Dahmer, I would not want to be on a. Is that the type of famous person you're thinking of? Or
I mean, it could be any famous person.
Okay. I mean, he's famous for the wrong reasons, but
Let's see. M. Night Shyamalan. Because the entire time he'd be telling me all of his stupid ideas for movies that he hasn't done. And I'd be like, let me guess. They were really like there, or this was really the thing. And he'd be like, and
he's like, you know, the first story I told you, you didn't get the ending, but now you know all the endings. Like,
yeah, exactly. It's almost like it's a one-trick pony.
Congratulations, I just got Shyamalan.
Exactly. And then the entire time you'd be wondering, you're like, have I been Shyamalan? Am I actually on a desert island?
That'd be interesting. Turns out you're not.
You're not on a desert island.
Oh, that sounds bad.
You're like, crap. I'm in a coma, aren't I?
And all of a sudden it like pans out and you're in a coma and M. Night Shyamalan's visiting you because somebody told him that you really liked him and he's just telling you stories.
Somebody's just like, yeah, his top 5 favorite movies: The Happening, The Village.
That'd be funny to know his favorite movies that he's done.
Woman in the Water.
The Last Airbender.
Oh, I'll tell you, there is one really good M. Night movie, and it's called, I think it's Devil or The Devil, which takes place in a elevator. It is actually pretty good, and I don't feel as though you get Shyamalan. So,
is that an old one or something?
It came out like around the 2000s, 2010 era.
I think I've seen it, and I've erased it.
It's not that bad. Like when you think of all of his, the twist ending, like what was it? The one that just barely came out not that long ago with what's his face, the Strax guy from.
The one in the cabin. I can't remember what it's called.
I mean, it's not that bad. It's not that good either, but it's not that bad.
I like that one. I was like, oh, like the trailer's pulling me in, but then the M. Night Shyamalan is pushing me away.
I mean, the funny thing about it is this couple that is supposed to save the world is the most they're the most unlikable people. And it's just like, oh man, you mean the world is going to be either saved or destroyed based on 2 of the most repulsive people ever?
That alone might be worth watching, and then just to see that. All right, Brett, you're up next, and you get What Would You Have Done?
All right. So what would you have done if you were handed Harry Houdini's movie ticket and that you could use it for one entrance in any movie? Would you do like a Lethal Weapon, Die Hard type of a movie? Or what movie would you use the Harry Houdini ticket on?
Harry Houdini, that you're talking about from like The Last Action Hero?
The Last Action Hero.
Okay. I didn't know I had a name.
Yeah.
I wish they gave out tickets like that nowadays.
Yeah, I know.
I miss those. Like they were like I collected those when I was a kid, and I still have them. Like
the paper tickets?
Movie ticket stubs. Yeah.
Yeah. Me and Brett, at least I saved a buttload.
Oh yeah. I had so many of them, and whenever I have the option of printing them out, I do.
Yeah, I just miss like having the nice cardboardy like.
I hate when they give you the receipt. Ticket.
Yeah, well now it's all just like digital. Like even going to sporting events, like scan your phone.
Yep.
Well, like what was it? A couple of years ago when we took Jude to the Jazz game, and I'm just so used to just taking $5 and going to. It'd been years since I went to a basketball game, and I just you'd take $5, you'd go to something, you pick up a hot dog or a drink or whatever. I knew it wasn't going to be $5, but then everything was no cash. You had to download an app, you had to register for the app, you had to do this, you had to prepay for it, you had to wait for your name to be called, and that right there made me just like, you know what? I don't think I want to go to any more sporting events.
Well, hopefully it's not like that when they get the other sports here.
Mm.
if they get the major league or NHL.
Sports.
All right. Your question, what movie would I go in?
Yeah.
I want to go into a magical, like Harry Potter, maybe.
Harry Potter.
And I'd punch Hermione every time she goes, Harry chicken. Or Potter with
Oh, with
Draco.
Malfoy.
Yeah, I'd punch him too. Like, come on, guys. It's Harry Potter. Just say Harry Potter. It's that easy.
Potter.
I don't know. I feel like maybe going into a Back to the Future would be fun.
Oh, that would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want an adventure movie, but not like
Not Lord of the Rings.
not Lord of the Rings, because I feel like I'd just be walking all the time. But I think Back to the Future would be fun. I think even being in like a Fast and the Furious would be kind of fun too.
Have we established if you died in that, would you die in real life?
It depends on if you are the main character or the antagonist or whatever. Because remember, the kid goes through like everybody's, standard role.
Uh-huh.
And if you were not worthy of living, you wouldn't.
I mean, it'd also be fun to be in like some kind of cooking movie or something, and you can taste the stuff that you've seen, or like have a tour through Willy Wonka's chocolate factory.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, Augusta, careful there.
I guess the one caveat is we've seen all these movies where that kid didn't see that movie.
Well, I mean, it would be a movie ticket to a brand new movie, kind of like what he did.
Yeah.
So I like that you chose a Harry Potter because it'd be a franchise. And so because remember, he sought a sneak preview before it actually came out.
Yeah. And he had seen other ones that have led up to that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So Harry Potter, and you're picking?
What did I say first?
You said the Fast and Furious. You
said Back to the Future.
Back to the Future. I'll do
Okay.
Back to the Future. I think that'd be fun.
But it's the new one. So
Yeah,
are
it's
they
a
going
new
to
one.
the
Back to the
past?
Future 4?
Yeah.
Are they going to the sideways? The
Hillsdale on the Moon.
It's lately I've been doing a AI 5-minute short stories for my kids at night instead of rereading the same stuff over and over again. And just the other day, I decided to try. I want a 5-minute short story of Back to the Future 4, continuing from the third movie.
Ooh.
Oh.
And so, like, it was like, I actually saved it. But it was like Back to the Future 4, the Quantum Conundrum or something. And it had Doc Brown creating this new particular piece for his DeLorean, and somehow Biff got a hold of it and changed a whole timeline. And there's like a bunch of Biffs going on, and it was funny.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I was about to say, should it be the multiverse for now?
Yeah, it's the Yeah, they were kind of tackling the multiverse.
We should totally do that one time with coming up with what ifs or whatever, because I mean, Marvel has the what if thing, and it should be what if Captain America decided to not age himself to death.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
So true.
I mean, here's the one I would do, because this is a sneaky pick. I would like Demolition Man 2, just so that I could use a 3C cells.
No, you have to be like, all right, somebody come in here with me, demonstrate. And then it's one of those things like, I don't know if you remember SNL Pat, and it goes to the bathroom, and like it turns to that. It's like, oh, that's how you use them. All right. Well, my turn's next, and I get random question. All right, this is just a completely interesting question. If Flash had a job as Flash, what would be the best job for him?
A pizza delivery person.
You think so?
Because he'd be able to keep it warm.
Yeah, I know, but would that be the most lucrative job for him?
I mean, he could like be a personal driver. Like he could literally probably take you across the continent in 7 seconds or whatever.
He can carry people.
Yeah,
Run
I mean, he can.
I guess he did. Yeah, in the movies.
But I don't know. Neither Flash. I mean, the funny thing is both Flashes are probably more accurately depicted compared to the comics, because you think a speedster is not going to be super like gigantic,
Yeah.
shredded or whatever. They're going to be very lean, muscular, but lean.
Yeah.
And, sometimes in the comics, like the Flash is pictured as like super jacked. And it's just like, I don't think that would work that
He'd
way.
look more like a track person. Yeah.
So, I mean, I'd like him to have a job of, hey, I'll get you to Europe in 7 seconds.
Has Flash ever killed anybody holding somebody and like accelerating too fast, breaking their neck?
No,
Just curious.
He has not done a Gwen Stacy death.
I know the speedster in The Boys kills people.
Yes,
way.
he did. Yes, he did. That's how the whole show starts out.
I feel like the most important job he might have would be like if he would transplant or transport like transplanted parts to people's bodies, like
organ
organ transplanter, something like that. Taking it from one place to the other. That'd probably be the most important.
Ooh, I know what he could be. He could be on SWAT. So that there's a situation and they're just like the negotiator comes out. He goes, "Okay, we're going to negotiate with you." Then suddenly, like 3 seconds later, never mind. Just
yeah, he could fix like anything. Like that'd be kind of a cool series that he just helps the police and get out of things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I think if he turned evil, he could be a good smuggler.
Yeah.
Bring kilos after kilos of drugs in here or weapons or whatever.
Sugar. Door-to-door sugar.
Door-to-door sugar.
Yeah.
Oh, mother.
Just talking to the sugar man.
All right, Curly, you're up next and you get how much?
At a top dollar amount, how much would you pay to have a superpower?
Ooh. Now, is there a tier system?
Yes.
Is it like random?
Well, just like, let's say, how much would you pay to fly, have a superpower to fly? And it would be permanent. Like you'd get this injection and you got it.
I'm trying to think of my life.
Now you could only buy one. You can't buy like multiple.
Gotcha.
It just otherwise they just kind of cancel themselves out and it doesn't work.
Now, is this only offered to me or is this offered to everybody?
It's offered to everybody in the whole world.
That makes it worse.
I think if everybody was, oh man, I need to drop off a comic for you because I think both of you would enjoy. It's called 8 Billion Genies. It's super, super cool. I would, there's 2 superpowers that I'd like if everybody had the opportunity to have superpowers, and that would be invulnerability. So, Superman's, bulletproof skin type stuff or whatever. Because if everybody had a superpower, well then, that would be one thing. But the other thing would be, I'd also like Spider-Man's powers because he has a healing factor, but he also is able to, like, I'm not a height person, but I could,
you could learn.
I could learn, and then I could, cling to walls and climb up and stuff like that.
And you have a sense for when danger is
But
approaching.
would you get all of those or just one of those?
Oh,
It's a full package.
It's a full package. So you can be like, I want the Wolverine special.
Yeah. So yes. Yep.
All right.
I mean, Superman, though, that's got to be high dollar.
Yeah,
I just said invulnerability.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Now, obviously, the bigger the package, the
Yeah.
more pricey it'll be.
Yeah. I like this. I feel like this could be like a game. I'd be like, how much are you willing to pay? It just sucks because it's like I hate our social climate because everybody buys too much and is in debt way too much just to get the best and the greatest thing, and this is one of those things. So if I do that, then I'm gonna be like, I'll be paying millions because they're gonna be paying millions.
But your power could help you pay it off.
Yeah, that's true. You could look at it as an investment.
You could get the Flash's power and become a parcel
Drug smuggler.
But then the more there are, then the pay goes down.
I mean, the other one would be, just pay to have the Green Lantern's ring, because then you could, make constructs. You could also build shields to protect you from other things too.
Yeah.
Maybe I want to teleport. I don't know. Or yeah, I would probably pay. I can't even imagine how long it would take me to get all the money I'd need to, but I bet I would pay somewhere around.
Wouldn't you want to be like the guy that in X-Men that creates things out of just like Forge? Is it Forge?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Forge. Just create things.
Yeah.
I think Colossus
Glasses.
from X-Men.
Mhm.
Like you can create top dollar items and be like, here you go.
That's true. I mean, he is highly sought after by at least Magneto in the series I read. I would say I'm gonna say 5 million because it's reasonable. Like I could save up to that with lots and lots of time, like with a decent amount of time and still living, but yet it would take that's how much money I'd be willing to spend. 10 million. I don't know if I could ever get to 10 million.
I mean, there's a fun superpower that I think.
Hold on, can I GoFundMe?
Yeah,
Why not?
Go find my superpower. I think I would love this because it would affect everybody around me, and that is one of the Flash's villains, and that is what's his name? Now it just the Turtle, because his superpower is to slow everybody down around him.
I don't know. That would drive me insane.
Well, I mean, the funny thing about it is so he's not fast, but he went to rob a bank and nobody knew that the bank was robbed. But everybody was just like, I just lost 3 hours of my life. What happened? And they look at the security camera and the guy he's just walking in and just walking out. And they're just like, why is nobody doing anything? And they all realize that he just slowed everybody down to like microscopic speed, and he was just at his normal speed.
How do you catch a guy like that? Because I feel like, is that always ongoing for him?
The only way that the Flash could capture him is because the Flash was able to use his super speed so that he could walk.
Oh, okay, I see. He could walk and slow, and then the guy's walking away. Like, I'm gonna get you. Wow.
I would probably do. I don't think I'd go for the ultra superhero package. So I'd go $100,000 for the mid-tier superhero package. I'm not at entry level.
I want to be a what's it called?
What's a mid-tier superhero package?
I want to be a sidekick level.
I'll take Hawkeye.
Oh, yeah.
Is Hawkeye really a power? Like, does he have anything? Or is he just really good archer and that's it?
I mean, he in the, what is it, Civil War or something, he talked about going to a golf course and shot 18 for 18.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
so is he kind of
that's
like
kind
a
of a
bullseye
power.
a little bit?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you could really hustle people with that power.
I just want to know then, Bullseye versus Hawkeye, are they equally matched then?
Bullseye versus Hawkeye versus Green Arrow.
Is Green Arrow also like a...
Mm-hmm.
Is that with everything?
I would watch that.
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, just get them all in a room. They all die at the same time. They're all perfect shots. All right. Brett, you're last and you get lick off.
Okay, so this lick off is again, I'm trying to get Tim to no longer just do $1.50 for something. So I'm constantly thinking about what to do.
What can make Criddle not lick things?
Let's ask AI.
So I did.
AI is like, I don't know.
I asked AI that, and I think I'm on a list now because it was just like, I can't recommend anybody licking anything because they're, basically it's to, prevent evil ideas being perpetrated by evil people. But it's just like, if you ask, basically it gave me an ultimatum. If you ask this one more time, I will report you.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was just like, all right, I'm just going to have to like use my own brain and ingenuity for this one.
We're sorry, AI.
I want to try this just to see if we get reported. Be like, and then be like, I got reported for asking weird things to lick.
Yeah, I asked.
Fear factor.
It was about a month ago. I think one of the few times I was asked to lick something or do a lick off, and I couldn't come up with anything, and so I'm like, oh, you know what? ChatGPT's my friend. He'll help me out. And it was thinking. It's like I cannot advise or give any recommendations for licking anything that could be harmful. Please do not ask me to do this again. If you ask once any more times, I will report you.
Jeez.
And I'm like, yikes.
What a tattletale.
I know, right?
So here is my lick off. And this is like basically a wild card. And again, I was trying to kind of maybe it'd be more gross or closer to home at Timmy's work. So you're walking past a refrigerator and you open it up and you smell something and you know that whatever it is has gone bad a while ago. You need to lick a 2-inch streak, opening the container of said funky smell, open the container and do a 2-inch lick across the surface.
So this is just a random
thing in your refrigerator that suddenly.
So like the next time in our lives something smells, we have to open it and lick it.
Well, that's never going to happen for me. So
Okay, well, it happened this time. Okay,
Yeah, it happened.
I broke into your house and put
And
something.
you planted
hey, what's this?
All right.
Has Brett's name on it.
For you, Credo. I will start the bidding off at 10,000.
10,000. I'm trying to imagine what this could possibly be. I mean, if it's in a container, I'm guessing it's got to be something saucy.
Or it wasn't at one point in time, but now it currently is.
But you're licking the container.
No, you're licking this
surface.
2-inch surface. So
Of the object.
Of the object.
Yeah.
So regardless of whatever it is, it's going to be moldy.
Yes.
Or it'll be stinky.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 8,000.
Ooh.
Let's see here. 5,000?
You not only have to deal with the look, but the smell and the texture.
Yep.
Let's go 5,000.
I already said 5,000.
4,000.
2,000.
1,500.
1,000.
2 inches. Let's go 800.
800. Okay. I'll go 600.
500.
Man, it's so funny. My process is I just envisioning licking, and then I think of the money, and I think of is that worth what what I go through?
Just imagine how long it took you to get this taste of soap out of your mouth.
Yeah, 400.
And we don't know how long it's
No.
been there.
Nope.
And Brett gets to choose what it is, basically.
Well, I mean, if I'm breaking into your house, of course.
Let's go 300.
250.
200.
150.
125.
It's yours.
All right.
Does nothing gross you out?
I mean, this does gross me out, and I wasn't going to go below 100.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, watch Criddle, because I'm like 150 is my bottom line, I think. And I was like, he's gonna say, "Oh, it's yours." Every time there's my bottom dollar. It's about the same as his.
Yeah, I wasn't going to go below 100.
So I'm $50 more.
So I'm like, and I've got Listerine close by after licking. I just dumped the whole bottle.
And just, and then go into the sink.
You're gonna do the Ace Ventura.
Yeah.
The plunger.
Your gun is digging into my hip. All right, we're going to continue part 2 of March Madness, the most rewatchable sport movie. All right, we are just on the bottom part of the first bracket, and what is it, like the round of the 64? I don't know.
Yeah, the opening round.
The opening round, yeah. Yep. So first off, we're going to do Karate Kid 2 versus Rudy. I don't remember what Karate Kid 2 is even about. I think you guys told me last week or something that it was they go to Japan, right?
They go to Okinawa, Japan.
It personally for me, and I've not seen the Karate Kid 2 forever, but Karate Kid 1 can be slow at parts. I feel as though Karate Kid 2 is on ice.
I originally was going to keep
the Turtles running it.
Yeah,
I was originally going to keep Karate 2 off the list. And just put 1 and 3 because there's more of that sporty competition into 1 and 3. This one is just kind of off on its own, doing its own thing. And I mean, I like that Karate Kid 2 pays dividends in the Cobra Kai.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
When what's his face?
Chosen.
Yeah, when Chosen comes back in Cobra Kai, it's just like, yes, you finally like. I appreciate the character arc, and also, it made Karate Kid 2 worth watching.
Mm-hmm.
How do I know who Chosen is? He's not obviously to where
So just think of Johnny Lawrence, but less funny, twice as mean, and Japanese.
Okay.
And no pop culture reference.
Okay. That's unfortunate. Okay, well, and then Rudy, I definitely have seen. I don't ever want to see it again, to be honest. Probably both of these movies I don't want to watch again.
No.
So this is the better of the worst.
Yeah.
Which one's better? Rudy was like, sure, a heartwarming story, but like he only plays like one. Doesn't he only play like for a little bit?
Yeah. And then he gets ripped in half. Oh, wait, sorry. That was not another teen movie.
I just got to go Rudy.
Okay. I'm going to go Karate Kid for one scene only. It is the ice scene. I love the ice scene. I love it so much.
Because we're going for
The most rewatchable of the garbage.
I mean, I do enjoy Rudy, but like when I compare it to what things are, when sporting movies are more recent, I like the more recent stuff than Rudy.
This is like Rudy and Field of Dreams. Like they're both of like the same like heartwarming kind of thing, but it's like
okay.
It's just like it was good in a time back when movies were less good.
All right,
as a whole.
I'm thinking about what's more rewatchable, and if I'm playing through both movies in my head, and I had to pick,
I'm just gonna go like this with an imaginary drum.
Yeah, and I'm trying to picture if I had to rewatch it right away, I think I would pick the Karate Kid 2.
Okay,
Ooh.
I don't care.
Honestly,
one way or another, I don't care
because I feel like there's quite a bit more lulls in Rudy than there is in the Karate Kid.
Oh, I'm sure there's lulls.
There's lulls in both, but I think
Mm-hmm.
there's more in Rudy.
I can see that.
I think Rudy's the better movie though.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. All right, next one is Gridiron Gang versus Miracle. Now, Gridiron Gang, which one's that one?
That one's The Rock.
I don't think I've
where
seen it.
he is a football. He gets, I can't remember, I think he's a job at some LA school district school where there's super problems, and he a lot of the kids are in gangs also, and so he is trying to get some of these kids out of gangs by getting them on the football field. And there is a tormented natural athlete type of a situation who make some mistakes and whatnot. So it's kind of, and I think if memory serves me right, it's probably like inspired by a true story, I think. All right. For those of you playing at home, it was Sprite Zero that just exploded. And then it exploded.
Krill just opened a bottle of Sprite Zero from sitting there the entire show, and then it just decided to go push everywhere.
Now, I know you came out of your car at the same time I did. So just out of curiosity, was this like in like the backseat of your car just rolling back and forth?
No.
But still, to hold that, I don't even during that whole time. That's impressive. If that was,
I mean, is it warm?
No.
Wow. Okay, I've got nothing.
Yeah, I'm not.
I blame AI.
You're on a list.
Okay, I really like the movie Miracle.
Yes. Yeah. Way to get us back on track.
Miracle I remember when Miracle first came out. I loved it. I mean, I know it's dramatized, and I know it's based off of the 1980 U.S. hockey team and everything. And I think that was just a fantastic movie. I like how zippy it is, and how much it really like kind of brings you into that story of, you know, how at that time the U.S. hockey team was a joke in the Olympics and in hockey, and you know, there's this guy that comes along and, you know, essentially recruits a bunch of college students to the hockey team, and it's such an inspirational story about you know, this massive underdog story, and, you know, winning, and and there's just a lot of tension, but in it's really gripping. I really like it, and I think it's more rewatchable than Gridiron Gang.
Having never watched Gridiron Gang, I imagine The Rock does a standard performance that he does, because I don't think he really has like a terrible performance, or he doesn't really do. He's kind of consistent with his performances, I feel like. So
he almost plays the same character in every movie, like this like gritty copy, you know, tough guy.
Yeah. So I think, I imagine it's a decent movie. But Miracle is a great movie, and the funny thing is, the first two times I tried to watch Miracle, I fell asleep during them. It was in my house. I fell asleep, and I was like, man, this movie just keeps putting me back to sleep. And then finally one day I was forced to watch it all, and I watched it. I was like, why did I fall asleep during this movie? This movie's great. And I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah. So yeah, I like Miracle. And one of my favorite things is when it came out, I was really into sports talk radio. And while I was watching it, they asked one of the players that was on the 1980s team, they're like, hey, it was that whole story with the coach where, you know, you skated, you did the suicides going back and forth. And then, you know, somebody stood up and said, blah, 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 blah. And then the coach called the practice, and it was a feel-good moment. He goes, well, we could have done that, and it might have happened. But what actually happened was it was just like, again. It was just like, sure, whatever. I'm glad that you had that moment. I'm still going to torment you. And so I like that. There's only one thing that ever really bothered me about Miracle, and that is actually from the original broadcast. And it is Al Michaels. If you rewatch the closing minutes of the actual game, Al Michaels is doing the play-by-play, and he has the moments, and that's how where he gets the title is, do you believe in miracles or whatever? You can tell he is trying to supersede the moment by throwing in a tagline in the game. And it just kind of annoys me because you can tell if you watch like the last minutes of the game, you can tell he's come up with it. He's trying to insert it in. He's waiting. the color commentator is doing something, and then suddenly he blurts out, "Do you believe in miracles?" And it sounds, you could, I think initially you can hear it as just like, oh, this is a miracle, especially if you know the story or whatever. But it comes across to me so phony, and that is the only thing I hate about the entirety of anything regarding that. But yeah, I think Miracle is the most rewatchable movie.
Yep, I say that as well. All right, Gridiron Game. See you later. All right, next one is Little Big League versus Warrior. This one is not a nice one. So Little Big League, about a kid who inherits the Minnesota Twins, and Warrior versus two brothers, essentially in UFC fighting. Little Big League obviously is an older movie that I grew up with. Warrior, more recent. I don't know. This is a tough one.
See, I absolutely love Little Big League. Like, it is by far one of my more favorite, I guess, kid baseball movies that came out in the 90s. Sandlot was good, but I find that the Sandlot, has some great lines, but it's not like the Little Big League. Rookie of the Year is good, but it is still not Little Big League. Out of all of the 90s baseball kid movies, Little Big League was my favorite one. And so for me personally, it's not even close. I love this. I am biased towards Little Big League, and that's where my vote's going to go.
I'm pushing my vote towards Warrior. I really liked Warrior, and it was a total surprise too. And I mean, we're coming from a time when Tom Hardy was kind of starting to become bigger.
Yeah.
Like he had done, I think, Inception, and then he might have done this, and then he was doing The Dark Knight Rises. And so, like, to me, I really like the story of this. I like that it's two brothers competing, and it's just really fun.
All right, so it's on me now. So I had no idea, brother, you like Little Big League the most. Like, I definitely looking back, I realized that you did have a fondness for Little Big League, and I've always known that, but I didn't know it was the most. Like, 'cause I love, like, when it comes to baseball movies, Angels in the Outfield and Rookie of the Year are probably my two go-to. For that. Little Big League, I do enjoy, like the whole story of him being an owner and doing everything he can to, did I say store? Team owner and all that. But I think I gotta go Warrior because I just enjoy it so much more. I'm sorry, Brad.
That's okay.
Next one, Mighty Ducks versus Major League.
This one's evil. I don't like this one.
Mighty Ducks. So number 2, they go to the Olympics. Number 1 is when they go against like that
against Pompey's
former team. Yeah.
Bombay.
Yeah, Coach Bombay. And then is it the first one that the kid switches teams?
Yeah, Banks.
Yeah, Banks. Yeah. Yeah. Why did he switch teams again?
Because he lived outside of the
area
line, because Bombay was trying to kind of one up his team, stealing the best player, forcing him to be on the team, and then it becomes like a whole thing where the kid is a rich snob that is forced to play with the
rejects. Okay. I think for me, this is a no-brainer for me. I could watch Major League 2 over and over and over. And over again.
You know what? Personally, the better movie is Mighty Ducks. The more rewatchable movie, Major League 2, because of the comedy factor.
Yeah.
So I'll go Mighty Ducks.
You just give a nice little salute to Mighty Ducks.
Ducks fly together.
The Flying V.
All right, next one, Rookie of the Year versus Eddie the Eagle. This one's an interesting one.
This one is so interesting.
Eddie the Eagle was surprisingly fun.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, oh, this is interesting. Like, and Hugh Jackman being kind of that, like, yeah. It's funny in sport movies, there's always somebody who's kind of like the old has-been that is just grumpy. And
Why is that?
I don't know. I mean, even I was thinking of the movie Cars. I mean, you have Doc, who's exactly the same way. They just have like a chip on their shoulder.
Well, I mean, you also like to go back to Major League 2, you have the catcher, Tom Berenger's character.
Yep.
Super, super grumpy.
Yep. It's true. And then Rookie of the Year. I mean, you got the pitcher who's grumpy, but then he turns happy.
Mm-hmm. I think the best part about it is Daniel Stern.
Oh, Daniel Stern.
Yeah, Daniel Stern is great. And John Candy's the announcer, right?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's foul. It's fair. It's foul. It's fair. It's foul. Oh, you got that one wrong.
Yeah, that was a great cast. And you know what? I'm not the biggest fan of the pitcher. Why can't I think of his name right now?
Ian something.
No, not
Oh.
him. I don't know who that is.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
The guy from Point Blank. Or not Point Blank. What was it called?
Under Siege.
Yeah, Under Siege. But then, there was... Yeah, Under Siege. Yeah, I was thinking
Gary Busey.
Gary Busey, yes. So Gary Busey, it's like the only movie I think I appreciate him in. I could be wrong. There could be others, but it's definitely the only one that comes to mind.
Gary Busey's fantastic in Under Siege. In this one, it's, all I'll say is at least Gary Busey doesn't take you out of the movie. Unlike a cameo appearance, well, not a cameo appearance, unlike an appearance of Vince Vaughn in not Hamburger Hill, in
I know you're talking
whatever. You have Ted Danson in Saving Private Ryan, and then at least for me personally, Christopher Walken in Dune.
Oh yeah, that I was like, and then when he started talking his Christopher Walken talk a little bit, I was like, oh man,
fellas.
I mean, I'm sitting there thinking, maybe, you know what? If like he reached out to the producer and says, "Hey, big, massive Dune fan, like
I'll do this for free.
I'll do it for free." That would be the only way I would allow that like appearance to exist, because it was one of those things where the instant I saw him at the very beginning of Dune Part 2, I'm like, I hope he doesn't say anything. Like, I just hope he's just the king that just kind of sits it out. And then when he starts talking at the very end, it's just like, you don't belong here.
You're gonna kill me. We're gonna die here. What's going on? Yeah. So back to this though. Rookie of the Year, Eddie the Eagle. I've got to go Rookie of the Year. Eddie the Eagle is very entertaining, but Rookie of the Year is way more rewatchable. In fact, I have rewatched it tons and tons of times.
Rookie of the Year for me, Bob.
Okay. I'm gonna give Eddie the Eagle some love, but it's gonna lose. So
now, are you doing that just to give it love?
Just to give it love.
Okay.
I mean, had Tim gone Eddie the Eagle, I would have gone Rookie of the Year.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. This one is an interesting one. Moneyball versus Karate Kid 3. So Karate Kid 3's with what's her name? It's with the girl, right?
No. It's still Danielson.
Oh, is it?
Yes, and it brings in
Terry
Silver.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
He comes in Cobra Kai as well.
Okay.
He's so much more evil, I think, in Cobra Kai than Karate Kid.
He is, especially like, well, what is it? I love when Kreese, he basically is trying to hold Kreese off. He's just like, no, I'm not that person. Please don't do that. And then Kreese like flips a switch in him, and he's just like, oh, it's on now. And he totally envelops all of the evilness that like we don't even see. And I think what it does is it makes Karate Kid 3 better than it actually is.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that I originally wanted Karate Kid 1 and 3 on the list, and that's just solely because there is a competition in 3, which makes Daniel LaRusso the 2-time champion instead of just one. But Moneyball, I've read the book Moneyball, and it's really nothing like the movie. And I love the movie Moneyball. I like the dialogue. I really like just the approach to the movie, and like how they take undervalued players and they flip it on the system that was essentially designed to, at what it was looked at as whichever team essentially had the most money would be able to afford the best players, and they were able to find a way to win at a game that felt unfair.
Which another reason why I like Moneyball is around I got massively into statistics in about 2003, 2004. In fact, one of the things I wanted to look into was being a statistician for, major league teams, basketball, football, whatever. And I did a project in my stats class I didn't even know this book existed. And I was doing a stats project on the correlation between money spent and winning percentages over a period of time. And my teacher was just like, I don't know what you're trying to prove. I'm like, well, according to this, like, this is the money spent. These are the teams that have won the World Series over the past 10 years. And every so often there's a brand new team that kind of pops up, like, the Florida Marlins. But at the end of the day, they're still spending the same amount of money. And so my presentation was money equals success. And then this movie comes along and it's just like, holy cow, they found a system that actually can make it fair for the Kansas City Royals, the Oakland Athletics type teams.
Yeah. No, I enjoyed Moneyball. I have to say though, between these two movies, like I'm gonna be indifferent. I don't even remember Karate Kid 3. I'm sure I watched it. I mean, I thought it was the girl one. And I was like, okay, I have an idea of the story, but I was wrong.
So I can give you a quick synopsis. It's
Okay.
like it's Karate Kid's back. He's still with Miyagi, but then they kind of have a falling out, and it meets Terry Silver, who's supposedly this karate champion, I guess. And what Daniel LaRusso doesn't know is that he's in cahoots with John Kreese, and so he starts training Daniel in more of like an offensive stance versus a defensive, like what Luke Miyagi does. But like he trains him in kind of a rotten way where he hurts himself a lot, and he doesn't realize that there's also this other kid that he's training that is essentially supposedly much better than Daniel LaRusso, and they're going to eventually end up meeting in the All Valley tournament, and Daniel ends up finding out that Kreese and Terry Silver are working together, and they find out that they have this other bully, this other kid that is going to be the champion. He's been, I guess, beating other people around, and they end up meeting together like Johnny Lawrence in the Karate Kid 1, and the whole story.
Is that the guy that dies in Cobra Kai?
Barnes?
Yeah.
I can't remember if he dies.
Well, I know
he owns like a furniture place.
Because there's a guy that they meet from the third Karate Kid that dies, and then the actual actor died shortly after.
I don't know. I don't think it's Barnes.
Okay.
I'm just gonna throw mine in to Moneyball. I have no idea.
Oh, I'm definitely when I think about both of these, I could rewatch Moneyball over and over again.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Moneyball too.
All right, I picked the same one as you guys. Yay, I'm in your team. All right, next one: Coach Carter versus the Water Boy. Now, I don't know Coach Carter at all.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
So Samuel Jackson, Coach Carter, he is a basketball player who was very successful when he was younger, and he ends up returning to his high school to coach a team that is completely dysfunctional, that had a losing streak for years and years. And so he decided, hey, I'm going to return and I'm going to attempt to coach this team and turn the system around, and hopefully help turn the lives of these young men that are really troubled and not working well together, and hopefully develop a system that works. And we take it from there.
Okay. And the Water Boy, which the Water Boy, I feel like
We've all seen.
If you haven't seen it, you're under a rock. Or if you don't even know what it's about. I think I've got to go Water Boy. I don't think there's really much of a question about it.
I think Water Boy's way more quotable.
Oh yes. I got a wooden spoon. So I watched a TikTok thing that said recently, so that the guy who plays quarterback, I forgot what he did, but he did or said something, and he went on a crazy rant. I mean, not too different, not like Kramer's rant from Seinfeld, but like a crazy rant nonetheless. And so now they're like, if you notice that he's no longer in any Happy Madison productions, that's why.
Huh. Interesting.
But yeah. So yeah, I picked The Waterboy.
I think The Waterboy's a little shorter. I think Coach Carter might be possibly the better movie, but I think The Waterboy is way more entertaining and way more rewatchable, and comedy lends itself to that. So Waterboy for me.
I don't like either one of those, but I'm going to go with Waterboy.
All right. All right, last one here. Real Steel versus Little Giants.
Interesting.
This is an interesting one because, yeah, you got the robot fighting movie with Hugh Jackman. I always want to say Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman.
Another Hugh Jackman.
And then Little Giants, which it's funny because until like maybe 6 months ago, I forgot, like, I haven't thought about this movie for years. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to watch Little Giants.
I bought this movie the same time I bought The Replacements online, and I haven't rewatched it yet, but I still have it now in my collection.
What? He knows the play. He knows the play.
Full Baruski.
Oh, and then that nerdy kid and his mom. Oh my gosh. My mom says your pads weren't good enough. Oh, I like that.
The ice box. And
I liked the back in the day simple stories where it was like girl and boy like each other, but the story continues. There's not really much of a divergence from the actual story, but that's going on in the scenes. It's a misfit of kids. Like, there's not a lot of misfit kids stories, I feel, anymore. I mean, there's like Diary of a Wimpy Kid where there's like a couple of them. I don't know.
Maybe it's because the misfit kids just decided we're not playing sports anymore.
Yeah.
It's gotten too competitive, and
I mean, I guess Mighty Ducks, the TV series, is essentially that.
Yeah,
but they haven't done a movie like that in a while. I mean, that's just a ripoff of Mighty Ducks.
Yeah.
Except, sorry, taking us back to Mighty Ducks 1. Mighty Ducks 1, were they terrible to begin with
Yes.
Coach Bombay?
Yes.
Okay.
A lot of them couldn't skate. A lot of them couldn't hold a stick. A lot of them couldn't hit a puck.
Okay. Then yeah. But yeah, on this one, I think I am going to go Little Giants because it is my childhood and I've watched it many times. I want to watch it now. Real Steel, I've watched it once, I want to say. It was a good movie. I enjoyed it, but I don't think I really care to watch it again.
I liked Real Steel a lot. It was kind of a surprise movie that kind of came out of nowhere. It's got some big names in it. It's got the Evangeline Lilly. It's got Hugh Jackman. It's got Anthony Mackie in it. And it's like an underdog robot fighting story, and also the grumpy wannabe, old timer
underdog robot.
Original.
That now, like, I now think about Terminator differently. You know what? He was an
underdog robot.
He was an underdog
every single time, and man, pow.
Oh wow! Now that just hit me too. Let's see.
In fact, I swear, every new Terminator movie, he becomes more of an underdog.
I mean, in the first Terminator, he's not the underdog.
That's right. He's the alpha. Or
he's the alpha, but from Terminator 2 on, he is the underdog.
And then, I forget if it was the one that was because I think I stopped watching after the Terminator with the woman. She is 10 times more powerful than him. And easily he's the underdog, and yet
it's an underdog story.
that changes the whole dynamic of the movie. Watch this underdog robot movie.
Time traveling underdog.
Well, now if you ever use that as a bad explanation for a movie, it's an underdog robot movie.
Oh man. I'm just gonna go to Little Giants.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Little Giants. I like Little Giants.
Yeah. I love one of my favorite scenes in that movie was when they the wide receiver just imagining a toilet paper being thrown.
Oh
in the
yes.
air.
Yeah. It didn't. What did he do that? Like
He just couldn't catch a football, but he could catch toilet paper. No
Yeah.
problem.
Why was that? That's such a weird.
I don't know. It's so silly, and that's on Disney. Straight on the '90s Disney level.
Well, when you think about it, what is it? Orlando Jones's character was very similar to that in the Replacements too.
Yeah. He couldn't catch anything though when he worked at the grocery store.
He was super fast. He would stop thieves or whatever, and then they
Drop
would
whatever.
drop whatever, and he'd go to catch it, and he'd fumble or it'd shatter.
Didn't he try to catch a Twinkie that was up in the air?
And then he ended up stepping on it. Like that's a Boyle move from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I think that's one of my favorite scenes of Brooklyn Nine-Nine is where he what is it? Is it a bagel that he drops and he steps on it? Like, how did you pull this off? Oh, that's so funny. All right. Well, that wraps us up for part 2 of March Madness, most rewatchable sport movies. Now it's on time to recommendations. So this, I'm kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel here, but this is my reality show that I really do enjoy it, and I like that they are slow. Every season they increase the drama. Like you see the producers in there tweaking, like, all right, let's add more drama, let's add more. And it's Love Is Blind. I enjoy that.
Okay.
If you, it's funny because it's taken over TikTok, but maybe that's just because the algorithm knows me and that I watch it somehow. But like, it's just so funny how much drama is out there on TikTok just about that series. So yeah.
I like the first series of Love Is Blind, and then I started watching this. I started watching the follow up or whatever, and all the people that they followed up with, I just disliked. So I never went back to it. But I like the premise of the whole thing.
There's one season you should watch because there's a guy that he reminds me so much of Gary Busey or his son, and he's just so weird. And it's so funny because he's just like, he's so obnoxious, but yet the girls love him. It's like, he is like Gary Busey obnoxious. And you're into this? Okay, that's weird. And then it's funny because like the season ends, it's all done. Netflix comes out with a whole new love kind of reality show. And he's in it. And I'm like, oh, is this their guy now? Like he's going to just jump from reality show to reality show. So that was interesting.
My recommendation is people that you love watching movies with, go watch movies with them, because last night Jeremy, my dad, took me out to see Dune 2. Dune 2 is a mid movie. It's not great. It's not bad. It's just a mid movie. But my favorite thing, and this goes back to way back when I was 18, 16, taking my little brother to movies, is to get there early and watch all the trailers. And while we were sitting there watching the trailers, me and Jeremy just leaned over and we were either trash talking the trailers, because there's one, I can't even think of what it was, but there were so many lame lines in the trailer.
I can't remember either.
And it was just like, this is going to be a train wreck. And I loved the moments of just turning to Jeremy and just being like, this sucks.
Well, we were making fun of Twister. I'm super excited for Twister because I love natural disaster movies. That's a weird thing that I just love. But we were making fun of also the main actor in that.
Well, yeah, because you heard him sound like Matthew McConaughey, and I heard him sound like he was trying to play
Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt, like an actor playing Chris Pratt playing the role, and then I, leaned over and made the comment. I'm like, in this movie, there's 2 cows, and
they're in synchronous.
And also, there's some secret sharks in these twisters.
Oh, I hope so.
That'd be so funny.
But yeah, and then there was the Fall Guy, which I leaned over to my brother. I'm like, I'm so excited for this movie, and I just loved just going early, watching the movies and either making fun of the trailers or talking with somebody and getting excited about something that's coming out.
Yeah, I had never seen the Fall Guy trailer before. That looked really good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited.
All right. Well, my recommendation this week is get ready for March Madness.
Woot woot. Is the bracket like official? Like
It's the bracket's coming out this Sunday.
Yeah.
So tomorrow.
tomorrow?
Get ready, fill out your brackets, and enjoy some fun college basketball. And root for your favorite teams. Give them support.
Don't
and
tell me
enjoy.
what to do.
I tell you, I love the first 2 rounds of March Madness.
Really? The first
the,
two
the
rounds?
first, not the playing round. The playing round's lame, but the first, the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday round.
Train wrecks all around.
Those are my first 2 rounds. Like after that, everything kind of, more or less starts lining up. There is some teams that, are the Cinderella team that come out unexpectedly, but generally for the most part, during the first 4 days of March Madness, that is where the upsets happen. That's where the craziness happens. And that is, I think, the best part about March Madness.
Wasn't last year the first time I think it was ever that a number 1 team had not made it into the either Final Four or
Yeah.
something like that?
Mhm.
Yeah,
That was crazy.
Yeah.
And then I think a 32 team beat a number 1 team. Wasn't it
Yeah.
last year?
Yeah. Which I was so happy with myself the first day of March Madness. I had a perfect bracket the first day. And then the next day, I think stupid Virginia was the one that broke my bracket.
Oh yeah, that's always when you're done with March Madness is when the team that you're like is going almost all the way either to the finals or winning it all. It's like out the first round. You're like, oh, well, I'm done with this.
There's just something about college basketball that's so fun to watch. I mean, compared to professional basketball, there's just energy at that level. And then when March Madness hits, it's a one or you're out,
Mhm.
and it's awesome.
I don't watch college basketball very often at all, but I happened to, I don't know where I was like, oh, there's a basketball game on here. There's nothing to do. I'll watch it. It was Arizona. And I was like, man, Arizona's got some like they were almost like boasting in the way they were playing. They were almost like Harlem Globetrotters in a way.
Mhm.
The game I don't know if they were playing like a really terrible team. So they're like, let's have fun with this.
Yeah.
But I was like, wow, you guys are like showing off and all that stuff. I'm like, I didn't know college basketball was like they were this good, because I know college football, the difference between college football and professional football is like they catch way more often, they get more yards usually with running, or their defense is just that awesome and it's annihilation. Like, so it's like great versus great. But like I didn't know college basketball was that almost like in that one game I watched, that's similar to almost an NBA team.
Yeah.
So
I enjoy college basketball, and it's you're not investing a whole lot of time into it. Games are over in usually about 2 hours, and so
Yeah.
it's fun. So March Madness, fill out your brackets. They'll be released tomorrow on Sunday, and then March Madness starts next week.
all right. Well, have a good week.